Now, what is happening right now is this fear. Okay? They can live in constant fear. Before, they only fear being dead, right? Now they also fear being alive. Imagine that. Unlike in an adventure, for di ba tayo pag fear, no? I don't know. You have maybe like dragons, di ba? May dragons, Dungeons and Dragons. May mga masasamang dragons, no? They'll fight, they'll ganyan, and then a hero a hero emerges, right? And then kills all those dragons, and then everything is back to normal. But the thing is that in this pandemic, walang ganun. Walang ganun. The ones who should be giving us the sense of hope are the ones removing the sense of hope from us. I'm not gonna say who, no, but then sometimes the government, no? Sometimes our leaders, di ba? Ay, nako, the state of vaccination, the news report, di ba? I mean, that's why I don't watch too much news anymore, because I have to take care of my mental health. I want to be peaceful. I want to stay happy. So our emotional and mental states are transmitted to the children. We transfer anxiety. And then the children pick it up and it becomes part of them. Okay, so now we go to the second part of the session. What can we do? If I don't give this, you'll probably walk out and say, harang, parang binigay mo sa amin yung problema, you're not giving us the solution. I'm not going to tell you all the solution, but I'm going to give you some tips, a little bit of recommendation, and a little bit of information, some more information on how we can possibly help our students, our children, cope with the challenges of online learning. Okay, so let's start. No, so we know that with added engagement, okay, required from us parents in online learning, how can we discover the best role that we should be doing? Diba? How? So children should see their parents as the greatest cheerleaders. That's our role. We have to be cheerleaders and coaches. Knowing a coach won't be misleading or overly positive. So hindi pwede yung coach na, yeah, kaya mo yan, hindi nakakaya eh, kaya mo pa. Okay? So hindi pwedeng ganon. Dapat the coach has to be constructive and goal-oriented, but then the coach also has to learn how to support. Okay? So this the students who see, or the children who see that their parents' role as a secondary educator will often become confused or challenged with weighted opinion. So a parent who is authoritative, for example, okay, a parent who is authoritative in his approach to task-oriented actions can also read a student of his or independent learning style. So hindi tayo pwedeng maging very controlling in our homes, right? So what do we have to do? We have to understand. We have to understand. We have to understand our students. We have to understand our children. Okay, so what does a coach do? Encourage. What does a cheerleader do? Push, motivate. That's what we have to do right now. Okay, so let's continue. So let us not forget that the parents are the primary educators of the children. The home is really their first school. Don't forget that. Now, I have a question for everyone. If the parents are the primary educators of the children, and the home is really the first school, what is the first classroom of the child? Type it in the chat box. Again, parents are primary educators. The home is the first school. What is the first classroom? I don't see any. Oh, house. But actually, the house is actually the first school. What's the first classroom? Bedroom, living room, the family, the dining room, the living room. The playground, okay. The mom's womb. I like that, Diane. Okay. The mom's womb, okay, with a question mark. Actually, um, surroundings, environment. Actually, if the parents are the primary educators of the children, and the home is really the first school, the first classroom of the child, is the heart of the mother, right? So I mean, every time I say this, if there's a talk like this and I say this, I feel very emotional because, yeah, because my mother is already dead, no, and I miss her very much, no. But really, this is true. The first classroom is the heart of the mother, ang puso ng ina, di ba? Ang puso ng ina. Okay, now the role of a parent and teacher, magkaiba yan, di ba? So the role of a parent and teacher are different. While a teacher or instructor serves as the guiding force in a subject matter, the parent knows when to lean in, lean out of their children's experiences. Yun dapat, support lang talaga dapat yung parents, di ba? Kaya lang, nowadays, that is not possible. So, how can we support learning at home? Number one, create a designated workplace. Designated workplace. Now, teachers, if parents ask you what are the tips, you can give this. Create a designated workplace for the child. So the home is actually full of so many distractions, right? The TV is there, the dog is there, the the cell phone is also there. So it's important to create a space for your child to focus and feel productive. Again, to focus and feel productive. Now, fortunately, there are a number of ways to minimize distraction. Number one, make sure, again, make sure that the designated area of your child at home is specifically for classes and homework only. Only. Meaning to say, it should not be the place where that's why sinasabi ko nga sa sarili ko, when possible, consider encouraging your son or your children not to use the bedroom as the working area or the workplace. Or if it cannot be avoided, if his desk table is actually in the room, then it should be not very near the bed. Otherwise, the child is just going to go to bed. And the teacher cannot tell whether the child is on the bed or not. Di ba? So, when possible, consider encouraging your team to occasionally change to a new area throughout the day. Maybe so the table can be pushed somewhere. So it may also help to encourage your child to do schoolwork in an area that they don't associate with rest or entertainment. So never in the TV room, never in the TV room, or never in the place where the television is, because otherwise the child might be tempted to just watch TV. Ideally, this is the ideal. Ideally, it should be in another room. Why? So that there's also a semblance of moving from sleeping quarters to workplace. Okay, what I do with my daughter, she sleeps in her room, and then she attends classes in our bedroom, and the bed is not the bed is totally separated from her study area. So she prepares, she dresses up, she combs her hair, etc. And she goes to our room as if the room is actually like the school. And we made it a point not to tell her, this is what we do. This is what we have to do so that you can have a semblance of movement. Okay? So by designating an area of the home for learning, you can actually also keep an eye on the progress, and you can actually detect the learning style of your child. I repeat, the learning style of your child. Then you have to note this down, the learning, and then you can communicate with the teacher if ever you have an opportunity to do that. The next one, so designated study area, have a set schedule. Very important. Have a set schedule. When you set the schedule, then you monitor the schedule. You just don't have a set schedule. you also have to monitor the schedule. Make sure that the child is actually going through the schedule of the day. Not need to be with him or with her for the whole 7 hours or 5 hours or 3 hours. You just have to go and say, "Oh, where are you now? I mean, what subject are you having right now?" My daughter, what she does is she comes down, she goes down to the first floor, and we don't allow her to bring food to the bedroom so that she can really like go down, and then we have the opportunity to talk to each other and socialize for a short time. Now, for example, you and your child might agree that that she can actually play after one class, because there's normally like a 5 minute break. No, she can actually do stretching, or she can drink juice or whatever. She can do the assignment after classes. So again, set a schedule and monitor the schedule. The next one, also important, you have to encourage healthy habits. By healthy habits, I don't mean food and drinks and exercise. I mean sleep. Right now, I think Mr. Anto had given this talk. No? Ang tawag sa mga bata ngayon, zombies. Because they're actually awake at night and then they are asleep in the morning. Imagine if they don't sleep, if they don't get enough sleep at night, and in the morning they attend classes, they'll fall asleep. Especially because of eye strain. The screen also provides that strain, no? So masakit sa mata, so pagpikit niya, tulog siya, di ba? So with all the disruptions in the daily routine, for example, virtual classes, etc., it is very difficult for them to practice healthy habits, such as having regular exercise. Number one. Number two, because we're also working from home, sometimes whatever is available for them to eat, we just give it to them, or we order food from outside, fast food. That's why sikat na sikat ang Grab, no? Ang Lalamove o ang Lazada or whatever, di ba? So, the answer is not always Jollibee, okay, or McDonald's or whatever, no? So be sure that your child follows a regular sleep schedule. That's very important. And then he also has to have a routine wake up time. Hindi pwedeng anytime gusto niyang bumangon, babangon siya. No. This is especially true for young adults in college. Okay? Sometimes we just let our college children do things on their own. No, but then say, discipline is still very important. Encourage your child to get a healthy amount of sleep. As for exercise, there are plenty of indoor exercises that you can actually encourage your children to do. But again, monitor how they're doing it. Next one, important. Set a positive tone at home. This is so important. In some cases, parents may be working from home also alongside with the children. So now the adults are susceptible to many of the same stressors also, diba, and anxieties as teens. However, it's important for parents to set a healthy tone for the home. Because if the atmosphere is healthy at home, meaning to say, walang sigawan. Diba? Walang sigawan. Although the situation may probably be challenging, okay? For example, extra stressful, and there's also uncertainty that the parents are experiencing. My suggestion is maintain an upbeat attitude and encourage healthy conversation within the household. Again, upbeat attitude and healthy conversation within the classroom. Remember, the teens and young adults still look for their parents for support and guidance. Yan ang dapat natin ibigay, support and guidance. So what do we do? Again, as I mentioned earlier, provide encouragement and a sense of hope. Okay, now, cultivating a positive attitude within our home can make a considerable difference in the mental health of the entire family. So sabi nila, who sets the tone at home? If in the classroom, it's a teacher who is a decisive element inside the classroom, but in the house, the decisive element not the children, but the parents. Sa akin, especially the father, not the mother. Especially the father. But in our case, it's always the mother, which is wrong. Remember, the father is the head of the family. The head of the family. So how he manages the home, not the mother only, how the parents manage the home will actually be picked up by the children. And then that's how they are going to react, depending on how the parents are also reacting to the challenges of the daily living. So next one, support executive functions. You know what the executive functions are? Okay, does your child have a plan? Look at the way he organizes his time, the way he organizes his materials, the way he organizes his things. So discuss with your child, especially if your child is an adolescent or a teenager, what your level of engagement will be throughout the remote learning period. Meaning say, how do you want me to support you? So your child may need some reminders to start assignments. So you can actually tell your, okay, so do you want me to remind you about your homework, about doing your work? If your child says no, but actually he still does not do the work, then you say, I think you will have to be given some reminders. So allow me to give you a reminder. Okay? So again, we should avoid stressful life. My daughter, who was doing very well when she was in elementary, all of a sudden grade 7, online, wow, very challenging for her. Very challenging for her. She wasn't submitting some work during the first term, and then the teachers would send us emails, and then no amount of talking, no amount of encouragement would actually make her do the work, until finally she said, I am tired, Dad. I am so tired. So she gave me a litany of the reasons why she was tired. And part of the litany was, because you keep on reminding me. Okay, so I was one of those that she was blaming. So ngayon, chill lang kami. Before the start of the school year, we sat down and I actually asked her, what did we not do well? What did you not do well last school year? How will you be able to improve it this year? Now she's in grade 8 and she's doing so well. Submitting all her work, finishing all her work ahead of time. Because kagaya ngayon, dapat this one whole week, there's going to be like a completion week for all of her requirements. She finished everything a week before, last week. So this week, she's not going to school anymore. And then she says, this is the benefit of doing work immediately, Dad. So I said, yeah. So now you know. Okay. There. Let's continue. Okay. It says there. Build independence. That's what happened to my daughter. So when you can provide your teenagers with just enough support that they can master the task at hand, do not do things for them. I know that there are some helicopter mothers or helicopter fathers there, no? So if the project is given, then the father is there to the rescue. Super dad. Now the grade is actually the grade of the child, but then the father has to be graded therefore, or the mother has to be graded also. So if your teen wants you to stop reminding them, if you're reminding him about doing his work or her work, agree that you will not provide it, okay, that she or he will do her work. Okay? So if they can manage, if he can manage it on his own, then so be it. Now, this is where values and virtues will come in also. Okay? In what way? Yesterday, I talked to the group yesterday about prompting the will. Sometimes your teenagers or your children will also have to feel the negative effect of being disobedient. Okay? And then don't shield your child or your teenagers from all of this, because these things are going to be learning. Okay? So if, for example, alam mo yung sabihin, the project was not done well, do not say, okay, let me improve it. No, you allow the child, okay, do you want to submit this? Do you think you've given your best in doing this project? If your child says yes, now there's going to be a negative repercussion if you submit this way. Yes, Dad. Allow her to submit. I allow her to submit, and then when the grades are given, what did you get? This one. Okay, looking at your work and the grade. Does this grade really meet the kind of work that you've submitted? She said yes. So can it still be improved? Yeah. So that's what you can do next time. What did I do? I did not force myself. Kasi mas stress lang ako. Mag-aaway lang kami. And at this point, what is important? Relationship. Relationship is very, very important. Let's continue. Take a cooperative stance. Do not dictate. Okay? Your adolescent will be more likely to accept guidance if you approach your teenager in a way that promotes open communication and negotiation. I learned it the hard way. Open communication and negotiation. So you allow your children to make choices about how they will fulfill their responsibilities. Now, this does not mean that you have to relinquish your authority as a parent. No. But this means allowing your children to be able to get involved in the decision-making process and then communicating respect for their ideas. It is important. Again, I will repeat what I said yesterday. Prompt their will. Do not dictate. If, for example, the grades are low, you don't say, okay, now that I see your grades, this is what we're going to do. You will sit down with me for 1 hour and I will teach you mathematics. No. You can actually prompt the will. You look at the grade and say, your grades are not all passing. Do you need help? So you're giving your child a choice whether to ask help from you. I can help you if you want to. If he says, no, Dad, I can do it on my own. Okay, so be it. But there's, again, part of teaching your child responsibility is to make him aware that if he doesn't do well, there's a possibility that he will repeat the year. What a wonderful learning. And if your child fails the year, although it's expensive, if your child fails the year and then realizes the lesson, tuloy-tuloy yan. I've known a few students from Southridge whose parents did not want them to repeat, but then eventually we were able to successfully make them accept the fact that their children were repeating, and they repeated. And the next year they became awardees because they realized. 3 of them are politicians now. But very good ones. But very good ones. Very good ones. Okay, so do not dictate. Do not dictate. Okay, let's continue. This is, I'm telling you this one with a lot of seriousness. Take the concerns of your children seriously. Do not just push all of these concerns aside. Remember that what may seem trivial for you could actually mean the world to your teenager. For example, I remember my daughter just came down one day from the second floor, and then I was in the first floor, and then she sat down and started crying. So I asked her, why are you crying? Daddy, sabi niya sa akin, sorry with tears pa ako. Daddy, I feel so lonely. Sabi ko, why? I'm here. Mommy's here. Yeah, but I am so lonely. I could have brushed her aside. Sobra ka naman. Antito naman kami. Lonely ka dyan. Manood kang TV. Ito yung phone mo. Mag-Netflix ka. No. I just listened to her. I said, you feel lonely? I just repeated so that she felt understood. No? So you feel lonely? She said, yeah, I feel lonely. I wonder why you feel that way. Then she started talking, and then after like 30 minutes of going through it, she felt better. And then she went upstairs, and pag akyat ko sa taas, she was okay. So they may be anxious about maintaining friendships or worrying about their future. So don't downplay the importance of these concerns. Again, don't downplay the importance of these concerns. To make your teen feel better, instead, take time to hear them out. Your teenagers, hear them out. And then validate their feelings. Say, I know you are anxious about losing your friend, or I know you're anxious about passing your subject. Again, meron akong ibibigay sa inyong tip. We do not want our children kasi to fail, but sometimes failure is the only way for our children to learn. It is not. Please take note of it. No? If you have a pen and paper there, I always tell this to my mentees, to my daughter, and to my students. What is important is it's like this. Who you are becoming is more important than what you are achieving. Diba? It's not important that you have honors. Who did you become because of that honor? At this point in time, what's important is the mental health. So do not push your children to, you still have to be first honors, huh? No, times have changed. Parents, there is one here. No? I think the next one will tell you. This one, you have to recalibrate your expectations. Because the learning ecosystem is different now. It is important to be realistic about how much your child can accomplish and how much your child cannot accomplish while learning remotely. Maybe he was or she was doing very well during the face-to-face pre-pandemic, but now she's not. It's okay. That's okay. Eh, hindi na siya honor. Siya. Okay sa kanya. Ikaw ang may problema. Ikaw yung nanay at tatay. Ayaw mo, hindi siya honor. Diba? So don't assume that if your teen is not doing something, is not doing something that they used to do well, it's because they don't want to. Okay? So maybe your teenager is just having difficulty getting started. I experienced that with my daughter. Now, on the second year of online classes, she's thriving. But she needed that 1 year of struggle. What can we do? You sit with your child, you sit with your teenager, and learn about what's not going well and what's troubling your teenager, and then guide him or her, and to generate his or her own solution. Okay, so recalibrate your expectations. Next, you tell your child, it's not vacation. It's not vacation. Some students say, hey, di ba? When March of February 2020, everybody was so happy because wala nang klase, no? They say vacation mode. But you have to always tell your child, or your teenagers most especially, it's not vacation. It's still school day. Not vacation. Still school day. Okay? What else? Now, to be able to improve relationships in the home, number one, activate interaction by increasing family time. Very important. So the number one remedy is to increase family time. Whatever way works for you. For example, maybe during mealtime you have a family time, or maybe while you're cooking. Okay, you're cooking with your child, you're cooking with a family, then you're there talking, no? Okay, so going on an outing, that's one, or walking outside, or going outdoors, spending time, actually, even spending time in the same physical space and doing different things, okay na rin yun, as long as the child sees that you are there. Because what the teenager or child actually wants to realize is that my parents are here with me. So as much as possible, be in the same physical space as the others. Okay? As long as you are together. But find time to communicate with each other. Next, which is important for me, increase human touch within the family. Huwag kayo mag-social distancing sa loob ng bahay niyo. Okay? So, the default is embrace your wife Fathers who are here, embrace your wife. Wives who are here, embrace your husband. He's your child. So the human touch that is age appropriate and developmentally sound. Okay? Hindi pwede yung teenager nyo pinipinch mo pa sa pisngi. that's not that's not appropriate, okay? Shaking hands, tapping at the back, embracing, hugging. So be aware that the children have to feel your presence more than usual because they don't actually feel the presence of other people. They cannot get the touch from other people because they don't go out. So kanino nila hahanapin yan? Sa atin. Sa atin. I told this story yesterday. Our registrar was here yesterday. Before I gave the talk, he told me, Luden, ang hirap, grabe. Kasi he came here because he needed to tour a family. He was in charge. He's also in charge of marketing. So these parents requested for them to come to Southridge and to tour the school with their child. The child, a boy, he is already entering grade 2 this coming school year. So that means when he was in kindergarten, online class. Grade 1, online class. Grade 2, he's going to come to Southridge, possibly face-to-face. But before entering the big gate of our school, he started crying. So the mother said, hindi ko alam ang gagawin ko. You know why? Because the moment he saw the big school building, he started crying. Because he had not actually been to a physical school. Kawawa yung mga bata. That's why those who are here, elementary school teachers, when you go back to face-to-face, iiyak pati grade 6 because they've gotten used to being with their parents all the time, the whole day, even the comfort of the home. So the human touch, no, that's appropriate. So be aware that the children have to feel our presence. That's very important. The next one is very nice. Smile more. Smile more. Okay, I saw Teacher Mia smiled. Okay, so Teacher Mia smiled already. So they can see happiness that way. So the only way for them to see happiness is that they're actually seeing people in the house smiling. Smile before you get out of bed. Ito, merong study na sinasabi that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you should do is to smile. Try it. I do it. So every day when I wake up, before I even say my prayer, I smile for 15 seconds. And then parang, oh, tama nga, may effect sa akin. And then before I go to bed, I smile for another 15 seconds before I close my eyes. So that particular way of smiling will actually make you like recollect the whole day, the nice and positive things that happened to you in 15 seconds. In 15 seconds. So be more expressive when it comes to emotion, to your positive expressions. Like if you're happy, show it. Sabi nga nila, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stamp your feet. Diba? So kailangan natin yan. Now, this one is very important. Look at the pictures there, no? Very telling. Find a way to charge yourself emotionally. You have to power up. Parents, you have to power up. So find yourself ways to recharge so that when you are with your kids, you have the energy to be with them. Ako, during face-to-face, ang hira, no? When I was principal of this school for like 20 plus years. Now I'm the faculty development officer of the whole school. So sometimes the moment I park the car, I turn the ignition off, I go out, and then I close the car door. I pray to Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph, make me a good father. Then I smile. Itong smile na to, may buhay. Then I say, okay, now I'm ready to be a father again. So when I go inside the house, my daughter, I remember when she was like 9 or 10 years old, pagod na pagod ako, no? Naiinis ako, biglang, Daddy, look at my work, look at my work, look at my work. Then I just smiled. Yeah, okay, come on, let's sit down and show me what that work is. So that's the beauty of parenting. Parenting can actually make you a saint. Can actually make you a saint. So, the expression of tiredness to happiness, nakikita rin ng mga bata yan that you're struggling to be happy, even if they know you're tired. Sometimes they even say, Daddy, I think you're tired. My daughter last night, after I had a backache yesterday, and then I told, when I went home, my daughter said, I think you look tired, Daddy. I'll give you a massage tonight. So I said, okay, you give me a massage. Then she gave me a massage. Okay? So we have to make a mental decision that we are with our children and that we are powered up. We have to be powered up when we are with them. Not only with our children, but with our wife, with our husband. No? Hindi pwedeng puro anak lang iniisip natin. Dapat pati yung ating asawa, iniisip din natin. Let's continue. This one I like. Appreciate your children and their presence. Be happy when they're there. Be happy when they're there. Sometimes they will challenge you. It's okay. You can actually play kenkoy with them. Be the clown. Joke around with them. Be with. It's fun. Otherwise, you will, sabi nga nila, minsan lang sila bata. After some time, they will disappear. They will have their own families, and they leave you there. But what they will take with them are the memories, the fun memories that they had with their parents, especially with the daddy. Okay, next one, supervised screen time use. Did you know that adults like us, when we work, no? So according to research, adults spend more than 11 hours a day interacting with media. And according to a 2018 Nielsen report, maybe more. So your child will likely mimic your media use. So you want to stop them from the screen time use. You can do that by actually modeling it. So you have to decide whether, I think the way to control this is to actually make your children or your teenagers aware that screen has to be used for work and not for entertainment. In the case of our teenagers and our children, they use it more for entertainment, not for work. Okay, so again, decide whether the use is for work or for entertainment. So you have to make a distinction for work use and for entertainment use. So lessen the entertainment screen time. You can talk to your children about this. Maybe the pandemic is a great way to reestablish order in the way your children use the computer. So you tell them, since you've already used the computer, you already have your screen time for this number of hours, maybe you should lessen your entertainment use of the use of your screen of the laptop or your gadget for screen time, for entertainment purposes. Next one. I like this, and I'm planning to do this coming week. Have a mental health day. It may be totally appropriate for us to give our children a sick day, mental health day. You should also have this, as in turn off your cell phone. Don't talk to anybody except with people inside your house. Okay? So unplug. It is very important to do this, unplug. Have more physical activities. I just put their weights, no? But that does not mean weightlifting only. You can actually walk. You can play with your children. You can exercise with them. Okay. Next one. Always express hope and optimism. I think I mentioned this to you at the start of the talk. This pandemic is already a sign or an opportunity for us to actually express hope and optimism. Nakakarindi sa mga bata because they do not have the experiences of the past to be able to cushion the blow of this pandemic. But then if the parents are very hopeful and optimistic, the children will actually see it. Okay, now the next one is very important for us teachers. Get your children in touch with reality. Again, get them in touch with reality. What do you mean by this? Well, it means let them go out, let them see the real world, let them study nature. Otherwise, they will just look at all of these things from screen. So get them in touch with reality. I remember like 3 or 4 months ago, I was really busy with doing these things, no, online, etc. One day I decided, one Wednesday, I'm not going to turn on my laptop early. I'm going to just parang chill day. So you know what I did? I went to our garden. We have a small garden in front of our house. And then you know what I did? I just sat down. I just sat down and observed the plants, etc. And you know what I saw? Meron pala kaming suso. You know what suso is? The snails. I realized meron pala kaming snails dun sa gilid. Okay, and I did not even know that there was a snail there. Secondly, I saw a trail of ants moving. So pinanood ko for the first time. I was so happy. Nanood ako ng procession ng mga langgam. If I did not allow myself or give myself a chill time, I would not have actually experienced and observing the ants. Saan ba nagpupunta yung ants na to? Nakita ko meron pala silang ant home somewhere in the garden. So I said, wow, yan yung nature. Yan yung nature. Okay, yung mga plants. Don't just take care of plants. Involve your children. Involve your children. Make them observe. So when you go out, get the cell phone so that nakikita nila yung surroundings nila. The problem is that even inside the van or inside the car, they're not also looking at the surroundings. They're not even talking to you. Okay, so get them in touch with reality. Another way is get them in touch with the reality. What's the reality at home? That mommy and daddy are there and that the siblings are also there. Therefore, they also need to discover more things about their parents and about their siblings and provide activities for them to discover each other. Okay? The next one is one of the most important things. Prayer. Prayer. You know why? Because prayer actually gives them hope. Tell them to pray for their loved ones. They may be happy. Pray for your pastor. Pray for the priest. Pray for your sick relatives. The idea of how to tell the students or your children that life is no good because of this pandemic will be removed because there is hope, and the hope comes from God. Prayer is very, very important. So the children are adaptable. We know that, no? If they know that you are also trying your best to make things better for them, they will adjust well. They know that you're doing everything to make things okay. You know what they have to realize? My parents have my back. Pero tayo, ganun din. God the Father has my back. So how do we deal with anxiety? If we deal with anxiety this way, that we tell our children, let's go and pray so that this one ends. Then you give them hope and optimism. We have to be loving we have to be loving parents to all our children. In school and even at home, dapat ganyan. Diba? So the main solution to all of this is also have mental peace and spiritual peace. You need to find that perspective that only God and prayer can provide. No one else can provide it. God can provide that perspective. Prayer can help us provide that perspective. I know that all of you are doing this. I know that all of you are doing this. But the silver lining about the pandemic is that we have the opportunity to connect with each other and also connect with God. And what a lesson it is for your children. The lesson that is for your children, the lesson is that they get to see us going through this pandemic, going through these difficult and weird times as faithful and devoted human beings. I'll repeat that. They have to see us go through these difficult and weird times as faithful and devoted human beings. Okay? So, kumanta tayo. We're all in this together. Di ba? Ganun naman yun eh. Wala namang naiwan. Lahat tayo nandito. We're all in this together. Remember that you're not alone in this journey. Check in with other parents if you want to, and they will probably tell you more horror stories than your own horror story. So check in with other parents to see that what they have found effective. You ask them, how do you survive? And then share your concerns and share these tips that you have actually gotten from me. Share this with other parents. Share this with your teachers. Okay? If you need contact information for other parents or resources, reach out to your PTA. Diba? It's important. Now, if you're in a school setup, what is also important is to gather all the parents and then just assure them that things are going to go well, no? And allow them also to share bright ideas with each other. I believe in this saying, tough times are a blessing in disguise. I will repeat, tough times are a blessing in disguise. It always reveals the true color of the people around us. Sabi nga nila, the pandemic or any difficulties or hardships that the person experiences will actually reveal his real character. Tama, di ba? Kung kailan mahirap ang buhay, ang totoong karakter ng tao ang lumalabas. Pero pag ang buhay ay masarap, sorry, I'll just drink water. Kung ang buhay ay masaya lagi, the real color of the person does not show. But during tough times, the real character of the person shows or is shown. Okay, now, I would like to challenge you. We're almost done. I'd like to challenge you. We can take this opportunity to be heroes. And invite your children to be such also. But you have to be heroes to them first. We can take this opportunity to be heroes. Actually, we are heroes with a story to tell. Did you know that naalala yung mga lolo't lola natin? Di ba, sometimes when we ask them, Lolo, Lola, anong nangyari nung gera? How was World War II? I mean, after some years, our grandchildren will also ask us, Lolo, ako naiisip ko na yan eh, Lolo, right in year 2020, there was like a pandemic. Can you tell me a story about that? My challenge is, what story will you tell? What kind of story will you tell your grandchildren or your children? As you flip your storybook and they say, this is what happened. I cheated in an exam. This is what happened. I fumbled. This is what happened. By your Lolo and Lola, your Lola and I always fought during that time. This is what happened. Your dad was a mess. So each of us will go out from this pandemic with a lot of stories to tell. My question is this. What's your story? What's your story? What story will you tell others about how you were able to deal with the pandemic? Will it be an inspiring story, or will it be a story that should be forgotten?